Some of the cool farm toys. Now, this is a very fun and cool looking part of the farm. Now, I love to get up in these big tractors and use all the different types of tools. Some of the cool different things that we have is a tractor and the baler. So the top picture is an example of a tractor. The back thing is a baler. What happens is it picks up the hay that we cut and makes it into a bale. It'll roll it up and make it into a very large bale. Now, something underneath that picture is what we call a tedder. Now, those little spikes that come down, what happens is after the farmer cuts the hay, those little spikes turn really, really, really fast and spreads out the hay so that it can dry. Because when a farmer cuts the hay, it's typically full of moisture and it's wet. It needs to dry out so that it could last longer. If the farmer baled it while it was wet, it would eventually decompose and break down. Now, since the farmer bales it as dry, it can last longer and there's no moisture making it decompose. We'll get into decomposing later, but we'll see what we can do, what else we have here. Now, the item next to that, next to the tedder, is what we call vertical tillage. Vertical tillage is how we break up the dirt to be able to plant different things. So whether it's corn or even the pasture, because we sometimes need to replant the pasture, we need to break up the ground to be able to plant the seeds. That's exactly what this does. This is different types of blades that go into the ground and breaks up the soil. Eventually, the farmer comes by and plants seed in the soil that was broken up by this vertical tiller. Now, the last item we have in the lower left-hand corner is what we call a skid loader or a skid steer. It's called many different things. This is used for many different types of applications. This can be used to clean up. Maybe it's pens that the cows were in and made a mess. So we'll use it to scrape up the hay so we can put new hay down. Or maybe we're digging a hole and we have a lot of dirt that needs to be moved. What we'll do is we'll use the skid loader to scoop up the dirt and move it. Another cool thing is when we make the hay bales, so that baler, after it makes the bale, it will drop it in the fields. But how do we get the hay bales from the field to the barn where it can be stored for later storage? The skid loader has a little tool that you can put on it that it can go up and gather the bales so you can bring it into the hay barn. Now, there are many different types of tools that can be used on the skid loader. What it has on now is a bucket, and that's how we do things like dig in the dirt or clean the animal pens. But it also can be used to scoop up in things like rocks, or if we need to move heavy things, we can put it in the bucket and it can be used and moved. But since we were talking about decomposition, let's go to the vermiculture, another important part of the farm.